Sorry about that, family. Mansa, Musa. Today, and definitely today, we are going to look at the animal mind versus the melanated being. And why the statement that Black people can be inherently wicked and evil is not true. With science, we see that the Black man and woman is God in the flesh having a physical experience, experiencing being in existence a male, being in existence a female. So the difference between these beings is the oil that drips from the pineal gland, creating balance, creating skin tone, creating acceptance of what is given in nature, a righteousness. A righteousness. That's the oil that is spoken of in the Bible. That's the righteousness. So when I hear people say that because you're dark skinned, it does not mean you're not wicked or evil. True. We're not we do inhabit evil. But we inhabit both in a state of balance. So I really don't have to prove what I'm saying. I just did a video about the war, and it's obvious that we can see on a daily basis who is doing what, and that is not something I have to get out of a book or I have to put in a book. It is something that we see constantly, and we've seen on and on and on in the past, or what we know as the past. I wanted to get into Mansa Musa because he was a traveled man. He traveled around with his fortunes freely, freely, and he embraced that which he was given, and some would say blessed with, and I never seen him go and kill in war against people. In Africa there was plentiful, and the people, the locals, to this day, they have this stuff in their backyard, but they don't necessarily pick it up and use it as a means of money or means, but it's a lot of it. Basically, it's natural for them. So that goes to say that um, our minds does not work in that way. Our minds work in a more balanced way where we have evil, yes, and we have the light, we have good. You know, evil and good do not stand alone in this world. But in this illusion, they are separated out because we're dealing with like I said many, many times before, we're dealing with the people with an imbalance. They have to get balance through alchemy, through pills, through liquor, and stuff like that has to be created. Melatonin has to be created because that kind of gives a balance out of that state of having to kill and deprive something of life, rape. It's just, you need that. Without that, and I not believe, but I know for a fact that they know and understand what I'm talking about when it comes to comes to balance. Because for us, they have created an environmentally induced imbalance for us through our foods, through our economics. You see, we're no longer a Mansa Musa where we had all our food on the trees around us, given to us. Instead, like Sister Spirit talked about yesterday, the monkey in the jar. We are much like a monkey in a jar today, because what they've done is they put dangling things inside of a jar, or you could say a box, because they box things up and they make it look like it's real, but it's an illusion. They box their women up, they box the food up, they box religion, they box this whole way of life is boxed. And so we fall for it and we end up in a box. We end up in a box because we fell for the trickery. Our people fall for the trickery every day. So when you look at before the time the European came and colonized and Mansa Musa was killed, and before the animal minds came to steal, rape, and pillage Mother Africa, there was nobody doing that. The Africans, we weren't doing that. Now, there was Moors, but it definitely wasn't the black Moors that were doing that. The black Moors were on they were trying to subdue the animal mind. They were trying, they went in with religion, they went in with everything. And this is where they get their religion. And this is where, because to tell the truth, Alexander the Great and them did not learn a thing. And that's a fact. When they went to Egypt to learn, the Greeks and them, they did not. They took what they took, redid everything, religion as well, and did not follow things to a T. So Europe was in disarray and decadence due to them not being able to grasp the science. Because they can only utilize the animal part of the brain, which we're all born into, but somehow we, as the righteous, the anointed, because we have the oil that seeps from our pineal gland that keeps us balanced. That keeps us balanced. Up until now, where they have induced violence, survival, they have, okay, for us, the problem is we are using the animal brain more because we've been influenced by people who use that brain. And that's the only, they cannot get to the creativity part. And that's what I talk about our people a lot, about becoming creators in our environment. That's what the Moors were trying to get them to become, creators. But the Moors proved that man is weak. And when they were taken from their environment and they had to go over here to Europe, they were weakened to the animal mind, just like we have been weakened to our animal mind. And instead of reaching the creative part, we are struggling. I can attest to that. We are struggling to get back to our creativity and get out of this animal mind. I wanted to do this video to explain why it's very important to know the difference and understand thyself as Black people. Because knowledge is power, knowledge is growth. And that's what I hope through this video, our people can get out of the mindset that we are like these people. Because the more we think that we are more like them, the more we're going to continue using only one part of our brain and fall into the trap of being that monkey in the jar. And the next 150 years, we are going to be in the same predicament. Let knowledge be growth, love, light, and darkness.